Pinto, Pinto, Pinto. Pack your fucking bags and get the fuck out of Philly. Get off the fucking mound. Because what the fuck was that tonight? What's going on, everybody? Eric here, also known as Shard with the 302 Birds post-game show. And look who finally decides to show his face.
It's been a long week with our fundraiser, so glad to be back. Happy to be here. I know Brendan's going to be joining you guys soon, too. He said he had pretty much most of the games covered through April. But, yeah, happy to be back. And, oh, my gosh, what a great game tonight. Towards the end, some things that can be fixed. But I'm going to just try to focus on some of the positives. I mean, Marsh looking already in midseason form. This dude is about as reliable as they come this season. And the pitching, for the most part, I will say has been elite, especially Zack Wheeler, which we'll get to in a minute, I'm sure.
Yeah, so like you were saying, Zack Wheeler, fucking wheeling and dealing, finally gets his first win tonight. Almost blew it in the end there, and we'll get into that in a second. But Wheeler was absolutely on fire tonight, and I'm really, really happy that he finally got that win because he deserved it. He had the runs to back him up tonight, which is great. He had 9 runs going into the 9th inning. His night tonight, he had 106 pitches, had 7.1 innings pitched, 1 hit, 0 runs, 8 Ks, 2 walks, and a 2.30 ERA tonight. He was absolutely on fire tonight, absolutely was dealing. Looking at the entire Phillies rotation, including the bullpen and starters, we're sitting right now at a 3.38 ERA, and that's everybody within the Phillies pitching staff. And we're also sitting at a 1.18 whip, which I believe on the broadcast tonight they said was one of the best in the entire MLB right now. So, I mean, definitely a little bit worrisome towards the end of the game tonight, but overall, ERA-wise, we're doing really well. And I know towards the beginning of the season, we were all kind of clowning on those reports of the number 1 bullpen. But as of right now, how it looks, we have one of the best bullpens right now, which is amazing. I don't think I've seen this great of a starting rotation since maybe 2011 with that starting rotation. And we talked about that the other night. But this starting rotation, like if we can figure out some of the kinks that we have, I don't think there's anybody that can top us right now. Don't you got anything to add?
You hit the nail on the head pretty much with everything I wanted to say. And I love that analogy back to 2011 with, I guess it was the 4 aces is what they were called, right? And it feels very reliable, very consistent from Phillies pitching. And, as a longtime Phillies fan, it hasn't been that way for a while. So it's a nice change of pace. My thing is I'm worried, every good thing must come to an end, they must say. So I'm worried about how long does this keep up. But with the way that they've been playing baseball, just take it one game at a time. That's my main thing for the Phillies right now. Keep the main thing, which is winning games. And I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, and I want to bring up this comment that Star Wars just put in the in the chat. Our rotation with Wheeler to Turnbull is good, and I definitely agree with that. We were talking last night about the reports that are coming out, and I don't know if you want to add your opinion to this, but supposedly Taijuan Walker, once he's done his rehab assignment, they're going to turn Turnbull to the bullpen as a reliever and bring Walker in as a starter. Personally, I don't agree with that. I don't think that Walker should be thrown in as a starter right away. I think you should warm him up to that, see what he's able to do maybe as a reliever. But, I mean, you look at Turnbull right now, his ERA is a 1.23. You can't beat that in the entire MLB. Why would you put him as a reliever?
Yeah, I completely agree. Turnbull has been electric this year. And as Ballpark Tommy says, Shard, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what they say in Delco, at least. And I definitely think that applies here. I have loved watching Turnbull this year. I think he's been loose. He's played great baseball, and he's played confidently. And I think that that's almost translated well. I heard a quote today during the game, and they were saying, do you think that these guys rub off of each other? And Philly Rob said 100% they bounce off each other and their energy. So I think taking somebody out that's hot, that the team rubs off of, that's a team guy, like Turnbull, for somebody that, necessarily, I wouldn't say is bad in Walker. I would just say, I think it's a little bit prideful is maybe a good way to put it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, Walker's definitely not bad, and what I'm seeing from his rehab assignment right now is he's pitching decent innings. He's pitching shutout innings, but again, look at Turnbull's stats right now. There's no reason based on his stats to go ahead and send him down right now. But somebody I do want to give credit to tonight, who had an absolute fantastic night out of complete nowhere, Nicholas fucking Castellanos, dude. Like, I don't know where this has been the entire season, but I'm sitting there watching the game, and for him to have that fantastic at bat and get a triple, dude's just hustling into triple territory. Ball bounces off the wall. I thought it was gone at first, but it did bounce off the wall. Fantastic. Definitely what he needed to warm up and get his confidence back, get his thing back. Because I mean, last season he was an all-star. He was an all-star going into the all-star break. Was hitting really well. After the all-star break, he kind of cooled off a little bit, and then going into the start of this season, he also cooled off a little bit. But we need that kind of hitter back, especially if he's going to be towards the end of the lineup. We need that energy back, especially to start scoring runs like they did tonight. They scored 9 runs throughout the game, and Nick was on base 4 times. He had a triple, 2 singles, and a walk, which is amazing. And I think that if he can keep that up, he can, either stay where he's at right now in the lineup, he can move up, whatever, but he needs to keep that up so that way we can keep consistently scoring runs.
Yeah, it was nice to see him kind of bounce back, like you said. He's struggled all season long. He's had a couple games here and there where he's done, the normal casty things, but it's not out of the ordinary too. I think for Phillies fans to see Casty struggle, he went through it a little bit last year too. But tonight was an absolute performance by him. I have written down right here at the bottom, I think, of the 5th, he was 3 for 3 with a triple, 2 single, and 2 RBIs. And then that absolute piss missile that he hit going over second base. I mean, the dude just looked locked in. So it was really nice to see Nick, like you said, bounce back. I hope that it continues, because that's kind of the my issue with Nick is that, like you said, sometimes he needs that warm up. Sometimes he needs that initial hit. He's not like, Brandon Marsh or Schwarber, somebody that can just walk up to the plate and, hit one home right away. You're not going to typically see that from him. You will be surprised here and there, like, the memes when the queen passes away, all jokes aside, and things like that whenever tragedy strikes. But, yeah, Nick Castellanos tonight, I want to focus on the good. And Rojas, too. That's somebody I want to highlight as well. I mean, Rojas had a great game. So to see both those guys who kind of have been in, out, come alive, it was nice as a Phils fan.
Yeah, Rojas is definitely heating up, dude. Like, you can just see from the beginning of the year to now the adjustments he's made. And I don't know if it's, like what JT did in the offseason with biomechanics. I don't know if he's just hitting the cages more, if he fixed his stance, the way he holds his bat. Whatever he's doing is working. It's working, and we're seeing that. He wants to adjust. He wants to be up here in the major leagues. He wants to be up here. He doesn't want to be sent down. And if he can get his batting up, there's no reason for him to be sent down. Because I mean, look at tonight. He had a fantastic outing defensively and offensively. But like you said earlier, Marsh is definitely heating up. And I don't know if you saw, but he made a brand new friend over there in his position. He tried to catch a foul ball going into the foul stand, and he almost toppled over the guardrail. And the kid that was sitting there, he kind of just patted his head and was like, "Hey, how's it going?" But Marsh is definitely heating up. Marsh had a 2-run home run tonight. Bark. Definitely heating up. Definitely what we need. I think he's the best hitter right now. And I think what annoys me right now with Rob, and there's a lot of things that Rob does that annoys me, but I think what annoys me right now with Rob is that Rob does not make the best decisions when it comes to sitting players and keeping players playing every day. And I think Marsh has proven that he's an everyday player right now. There's no reason why you're sitting Marsh when there's other players that I think right now you need to worry about and sit. Before tonight, you should have sat Nick for a couple games. Granted, Nick had a great night tonight, but you should have sat Nick a couple games ago if he wasn't producing. Marsh right now, I believe, has the best batting average out of the entire team. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't think there's any reason why we should be sitting Brandon Marsh, unless it's a scheduled off day.
Is his slugging average or whatever it's called still at like a 6 or
I'm
something
gonna look that.
ridiculous
I'm gonna
like
look that
that?
up now.
Yeah, I mean, dude's just on fire this year. He's been connecting with the ball. I know they were talking, he adjusted his stance a little bit and a couple things about it this year. But it also looks like Brandon Marsh takes the game a little bit more seriously this year, too. Not saying that he didn't before. He just looks more locked in, more focused on the end goal, which is great to see.
Yeah, so I mean, if you look at his stats right now, his batting average is a .286. So he's hitting the best out of everybody on the team right now. And his slugging average right now is a .571, which is amazing.
That's insane.
Like right now, he has 63 at bats, 8 runs, 18. What's this hits? 18 hits, 1 second base, 1 third base, 5 home runs, and 12 RBIs. So I mean, like out of the entire team, he's doing the best out of everybody. He's beating your MVP player, Bryce Harper, right now.
Yeah.
So again, no reason why he's sitting as much as he's sitting. But to go ahead and round the show out and close, Pinto. What the fuck, Pinto? Like Pinto came in last week or 2 weeks ago. Literally, he came down from New York, said hi to Rob, came in, and I think it was towards the end of the game, and completely looked dominant. And then for him to come out tonight and let up 5 runs, like what are you doing, dude? Like there's no reason why you should be letting up 5 runs to the White Sox, who are now, I believe, 3-16 or 17. Yeah, 3-17. Like, I'm sitting there watching towards the end, and I'm like, okay, he's gonna let up 1 run. That's fine. We're fine, 9-1. Then he lets up another run. Then he loads the bases. Then it's 4-9, 5-9. Then, he finally gets pulled, and I'm sitting there. And I texted, I forget who I texted, but I said, watch, Jose Alvarado is going to come in for a 1 pitch out. And guess who fucking called it? Jose Alvarado comes in to save the game, 1 pitch out for a final score of 9-5. Again, shouldn't have been that close. Definitely a nail biter. But yeah, like Sam Nelson said, never want to see Pinto again. Pack his bags, send him down. Send him to freaking China for all I care. You can go play for the Chinese leagues. I don't care. But yeah, I just like, I think we need to finally find our set closer similar to how last year Craig Kimbrell came in a lot of games and closed. I think Rob needs to kind of sit down with a lot of the people in the back end of the bullpen and be like, look, we need to find our concrete closer. Who's it going to be? Like Star Wars said, we can sweep on the Fanatic's birthday. What better birthday present would that be to the Fanatic, the best mascot in all of sports, than another sweep and another series win?
I guess will that mean that will Phoebe be there too, the Fanatic's mother, technically, who comes out sometimes? So we'll have the whole squad in the house. So hopefully they can get it done. it's sad too to see what's happened with Pinto too, because that's just feels like a Philly story. You know what I mean? The drive, the whole thing, but you can't give up 4 runs after a dominant game like that. I mean, when Wheeler's pretty much throwing a no hitter until that unfortunate play, and it's nobody's fault. That was just a tough break.
It's the announcer's fault, dude. It's the announcers.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, he's throwing an absolutely insane game. And I get it. You can't control some things. You can't control some things again. But 4 runs pretty bad. In the bottom, I guess, or was it the top of the ninth technically? Yeah, the
Yeah, it
top.
was top of the ninth.
So, yeah, they got to get that shit together. They got to get it worked out. Good news is the Phillies have been finding ways to win games here at the end. It feels like it over the past week that they've been kind of finding themselves as a team. They've been winning these tough games. Even though they're tough games at the end, they're making sure that they get the W. And at the end of the day, as a fan, that's what I want the most. Like, you need to sweep teams like the White Sox. Because the White Sox have shown, like tonight, they might be the worst fucking team in baseball after some of those mistakes. I mean, that glove falling off, the 2 guys dropping the ball, running at each other. We should have swept the Pirates. That was embarrassing that I guess we split with them. So the Phillies really need to make up for mistakes like that and get some W's right now. So it's nice to see them bounce back and do so.
Hey, I mean, Mets fans thought they were going to be in second place for all of an hour.
Oh my God, yeah. Freaking those uniforms, dude, don't even get me started. They look like something out of freaking World War II or something. They are awful, or they look like sidewalk concrete. I can't even explain how ugly they are. I thought the City Connects that we had were bad. I talk shit about them. You should see them, dude. The Met City Connects. I'm sure you've already seen them. Ugh.
I just don't think you like City Connects in general. I think that's your issue.
I think I just don't freaking like them in general. I mean, I don't know why anyone would ever want to wear that Mets uniform ever. It's just not a good look.
Yeah, but to go ahead and close out the show, like I always do every show, we go ahead and update you guys on the standings for each game and where we're at right now. So again, Braves are 13-5. We're 13-8. Mets, like I said, are 12-8. They're right behind us. So we need to start winning these games now. Nationals are 9-11. Marlins are 5-16. Marlins are complete poop. Nationals or whatever. I think the only people, like I said, I'm worried about are the Mets. They're on a 6-game win streak right now. I believe we're on a 5-game win streak, so we're kind of right there, even and even. We're 1.5 games back from the Braves. Mets are 2 games back. We really just need the Braves to have a collapse here soon, so that way we can overtake the division. But doing well. Hopefully we sweep tomorrow on the Fanatic's birthday. And yeah, I mean that's all I got. Dalt, you got anything to add?
No, I mean you crushed it. Like you said, happy birthday, Fanatic.
Yeah, happy birthday, Fanatic. If anybody's going to the game, snag me a pair of those mittens. I need to get some of those. Give you $5 for a pair. But on that note, guys, have a good night. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll be here. I don't know who's going to be joining me, but always a great time having you. Thanks for joining. And on that note, have a good night.